Hi everyone, it's Susan and I'm from Worldpeacefull. And for the last couple of days, I've been experiencing bliss. And I was even thinking last night I should do a video on this, and then I got busy with something. And again today, I'm having very strong experience of bliss, and I feel to share it with other people, what it means, and try and convey how it feels. But before I do, I feel to meditate to connect to that feeling. And all meditation is a stilling of the mind and living in the present moment. Beyond thoughts actually is what meditation takes us to, and bliss is also beyond thoughts. So I will spend a few moments. It's the most wonderful feeling, and it doesn't require anything in your external world to change for you to feel bliss. It actually comes from the inner world, which is our true self. Many of us run around seeking pleasures outside ourselves. We might use money to buy things to feel a sense of novelty, something new, to make us feel a bit excited. I've just bought this, I've just bought that. Well, bliss is not like that at all. It depends on nothing outside of yourself. It just rises up within you because you feel completely at peace with the world as it is. I am just so amazed by this experience. It's not an emotion. It's actually coming from an inner feeling. It actually comes from my heart, because I was examining that as I was walking, smiling. I often walk and smile. And I marvel at this incredible joy that comes up. And today I was sort of really being present with it and asking myself, why do I feel such enormous joy? I'm just going shopping, or I'm going to have a coffee, or my day is not that exciting in terms of some of the things I've done in my life. But it's a real feeling of peace with the world as it is. And I was discussing tonight, even with my mum, how happy I am that I've chosen the life that I've chosen. And I have chosen to live alone quite deliberately. I've done it because my work is peace. And I wanted to explore, can I be peaceful without a partner? Can I feel complete? Can I feel peaceful without a 9-to-5 job? Can I feel peace doing very mundane things, walking, riding my bike, shopping? And I can honestly say to you, I've had this experience many, many, many times in my life now. This is certainly not the first time. And what I can say is, what I've learned is happiness as joy, as bliss, as centeredness in terms of how I feel in relationship to the world is absolutely achievable without anything external prompting it. The way I experience it is just unbelievable happiness. Unbelievable happiness. I feel no envy for other people. I feel incredibly grounded, is the way I would say. It's not like a floating feeling. It's actually a very grounded feeling, in the sense that I don't need to do anything to make me happy. I already am happy. When I walk on my own, I never feel on my own. And I always know when I'm feeling great love and peace for the world, because I never feel lonely. So that kind of means we don't really need people to make us feel not lonely. It means that something within us is what we're disconnecting from when we're lonely. It's actually got nothing to do with other people. That's what I've learned. And if I was to try and convey this at a deeper level, what I would say is whenever I come into alignment with my deeper truth, and what that means is when I come into alignment with a recognition or realization that there's nothing I need to do, that the present moment is all I need, and that's not even the word need is accurate there. The present moment is what it is in each moment. And that sense of groundedness means I'm not floating off in thoughts of the future or in thoughts of the past. It means that I'm completely happy with who I am right now. I'm in complete acceptance of where I am right now without any need to be anywhere else. I don't look at anyone else with a sense of jealousy or envy saying, I wish I was like that. When I'm in this state of complete joy. And I always have a smile on my face, always. And I notice people smile back at me quite a lot. And I always talk to people. I engage with them. I was just at the shops today in a supermarket and got talking with a grandmother at the counter. She had a great shock of red hair, and I really like that. And she said, yeah. I said, I love your hair. And she goes, yeah, it's a bit out there, isn't it? And I said, yeah, it is. It's great. I said, but I've been a clown. I've even been more out there. I said, I used to clown in shopping centres. And I was actually walking through the shopping centre thinking how mundane it all is for people. I mean, I'm in a state of joy as I move through, so I don't need a clown to be there to cheer me up. But I looked at the other people and I was just thinking, clown would go down well here. I think a bit of spontaneity. I can imagine all the kids coming around the clown as a bright, sparkly person. Because what happens is people get so locked into routines and it's the same thing that you're seeing every week. You're probably doing it at the same time. You're going out and buying the same things if you're shopping and you do it every week. And I looked at the shops and I thought how uninvigorating they are. They're just shops with brand images, pictures. And in this particular shopping centre, there's not that many people around. There's not that really strong sense of community. And I was just sort of pondering that. But still, at the same time, there was no sadness around it for me. I felt complete joy with where I was. And as I walked, I chat with the cashier as well. He had a tattoo of a peach on his hand. And I said, oh, what's that about? And he goes, oh, they call me Peach. he had orange hair and very pink face. I could see why they called him Peach. Very nice guy. He was not pushing me or rushing me. He was actually really sweet. And I could see that he was a person that accepted himself for who he is. And then as I walk out of, the shop, I then say to this lady, I love what you're wearing. And I did. It was really great. She had this fantastic jumper on, sort of jumper I'd wear, and she had boots and she looked really nice. And I just said, oh, I really love that. I said, I'd wear that. And she looked at my clothes. She loved my pants. And she said, I'd wear that. And the two of us ended up having a really nice discussion about colours and being bright and cheerful. And what I love it when I have these moments with people. It's like I've known them forever. And I don't know how they feel, but I just have no fear around communication with other people at all. And in a sense, what that is it's living in your authentic self. I'm not pretending to be something. I'm not reaching out to grab onto anyone because I'm lonely. I'm actually celebrating within myself. And because I love everyone, and I do, I know some people might find that hard to believe, but I do. When I look upon people, I don't see anything I don't like. I can look into their faces and see that some of them are probably lonely or a little bit unhappy. I have seen that particularly in men. But I don't judge their lives. I think people's lives are quite hard, particularly given there's a deep sort of undercurrent of negativity in our world, where people aren't that satisfied with the way things are. But this work that I've done on inner peace is incredible. It's like tapping into something that's an endless well of well-being, and that's what I feel. I do have my moments, definitely. I have days where I'm not feeling bliss, and I might be tired, or I'm believing something that's not true, because what I've come to understand from a peace perspective, that all negativity is believing thoughts that aren't true. I see now, having been a clown and travelled and met with loads of people, thousands and thousands of people I've met and hugged, smiled at so many people, because it's just been such an extraordinary experience. And every time I think about being a clown, an enormous joy comes up. So I can't wait to actually go back on tour and visit the schools and meet with children and really share with them what it is like to live a life of, joy for the most part. And as I said, I've also had to deal, that idea of the happy, sad clown. I've also dealt with the sadness as well. But always I regard that as part of my work in peace. What is it within me that's feeling sad about something? And what thoughts am I having at that time? And always, it doesn't take me too long to move from that sense of sorrow about something into a sense of happiness. No more than, I would say, 8 hours if I was, really down. It would probably not take more than that, or it could even take half an hour. It just depends. But I would say, by and large, I live the most joyful life. And I believe I live a life that's more joyful than most people that I see. And that's because I'm living from the inside out. I'm reading a very interesting book called The Presence Process by Michael Brown. And it's very much about being authentic. It's about learning to breathe in the sense of not thinking. So you might breathe for 15 minutes consciously in the morning and at night in order to, in a sense, quieten oneself. And this book is really interesting. I mean, this is a guy that was having severe pain. He said he had something like 8 periods of day where he was in absolutely extreme pain. He had some disease that was unbearably painful, and he said it was a question of he either found a solution to this pain or he was going to end his life. And he ended up trying all these various techniques, meditation, he tried rituals, he tried all sorts of stuff to try and distract his mind out of the pain. And he said none of it worked until he found the breathing process. Some people call it breath work in certain circles, because the breath is, if you like, what is truly natural about us. We're not controlling the breathing. It is just a natural rhythm. And it's like when you're upset, people say breathe, breathe in, breathe out, and calm down. So when you focus on the breath, you're just coming into a space of stillness and inner peace. Now, he did this, and he said he completely removed all the pain. It just dropped away when he came into the presence of himself. That's why he calls his technique the presence process. It's worth looking at Michael. He's a really interesting guy. And he talks about realize, as in real, eyes, E-Y-E-S, real eyes. So when you look at something with real eyes, you realize. I love that. He does not regard himself as spiritual. He regards himself as grounded in authenticity. He doesn't see his life as a doing. He sees his life as a being. He is not interested in fame at all, even though his books have become very, very popular. He's very keen to live the adventure of life and to see it as a celebration. So I've been sort of reading through this, and as I read, I'm feeling this incredible sense of connectedness to it as I can feel the truth in what he's saying. It really comes from this idea that life doesn't happen to us, life happens through us. And we are the ones that choose what we want to believe about all things. It's about being fully responsible for your life. Nobody does anything to you. Although things do happen, I mean, that's not to say that someone doesn't come past and let's say they're on ice and they hit you or they scream at you or something happens. That's not to deny an event in your reality. But it's how you greet those experiences that makes all the difference. And it actually opens up possibilities for your future, because our thoughts tend to be what we feel emotion from. So you might think, oh, this is great, I won the lottery, I'm so happy. You might have a car accident and say, this is bad, this is terrible, it's going to cost me a fortune, it's wrecked my day. You can see how the thought is followed up by the belief and the emotion. This is good, this is bad. What if you won the lottery and you just went, I'm in a state of joy anyway. This is fantastic. This has happened. Let's say you have a car accident. It's really fantastic. I didn't die in that accident. You could say that. But even if you did, that probably wouldn't be, there are obviously viewpoints out there that we continue on. But you might just say, what is the good I see in this situation? It was meant to happen. It did. And what that means by meant to be is reality is what it is. If it doesn't happen, it's not meant to be in your life at that time. It's when we're resisting life on some level that we feel anxiety and we feel pain. So it's really coming into what is the resistance, and what Michael talks about, it's very interesting. He talks about when the baby's even in the womb, and let's just say that the mother and the father have an argument. Let's say the father leaves the wife and she feels this intense feeling of abandonment. They talk about the vibrational field. That baby has an imprint on it of that emotional experience that the mother had. They call it imprinting. Child might come out of the womb with some traumas. Now, those experiences can fall into unconsciousness over the period of that person's life if they're not fully present with themselves. People who take drugs tend to be not present with themselves. They're trying to take themselves away from themselves. They're trying to escape. People who drink do the same. Or people who have various addictions. They're doing it because they don't want to actually be with themselves. And what presence is about is actually being with yourself. So let's just say some of these feelings come up. Let's say that child who had the imprinting of abandonment because the mother felt abandoned may well go through various experiences in their life where people leave them, they get passed over for a job, they see a friend leave and they believe they've been abandoned. But they might project a story that this person did it to them, or this person, they might depreciate that other as a result of the experience rather than really noticing the discord within themselves has actually been driven by this deep sense of abandonment, which may well be unconscious. So presence process is really about integrating unintegrated emotions. Now, the emotional field, the feeling field, is where we get the deep connectedness to life. This is connecting to the oneness. Now, when I say I feel a sense of bliss or a sense of groundedness in this moment, I'm actually experiencing a oneness with life. There's no resistance within me. There's no opposites or duality within me when I'm in a state of incredible joy. Now, I know it's an inner state because nothing is actually happening to make me feel this way. I'm just in alignment with a truth within myself that I completely accept the present moment. And what they say is, even in people who say, let's have cancer, and they know they're going to die, there's a point where they actually feel peace because their fight is over. when it's over, it's over. It's like when we finally reluctantly give in to something and this all-pervading peace comes across us. And that's not to say that in life that we avoid things in order to find the peace. We don't. We actually face everything. The real pathway to peace is not one of passivity in the sense of avoidance or trying to keep the peace, in the sense of subduing people or not saying something because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. The road to peace is actually, in my view, one of facing life as it is. Now, I've come to understand that things happen in life for a purpose. We might term it good or bad, but ultimately it's an experience. And what I invite everyone watching this to do is, whenever something difficult comes up in your life, I would ask you to perhaps look beyond the fear of that experience, firstly, and look at it as something that life is bringing for a purpose. Now, if you're feeling fear around it, sit with the fear. Just go into your heart and say, where am I feeling this stress? Where is it coming from? Why do I feel this stress? What thoughts am I believing that make me feel fearful? And don't judge yourself for the fears that come up. Just sit with it. What they say is that creates a space around the fear. Now, when you create a space around it, it can let go. That's why when we meditate, we stay in tune with ourselves. We start to feel a deep grounding and a deep peace. It's a very powerful technique for calming and centering. Life is truly a gift. Every challenge is a gift that comes to us. And it's come to because there needs to be some attention given to this gift. You know, what is the deeper purpose of the gift, and let's receive it with goodwill. If one can feel a sense of peace and bliss no matter what external situation is happening, if we can fully accept people as they are and not expect anyone to change to make us happy, to know that life is this most incredible diversity and that people don't think like me, they think differently, and that's as it should be. But if you find yourself, where you need to speak your truth, whatever that is, just do it. Do it with an open mind and be open to what others say. Because everything in your life is truly a gift. And we're the ones that decide if we can, in a sense, bless that or not. Even if it's a car accident or going broke or losing your job or leaving a situation that you've had a long-term investment in. If you can do that with wonder and with great unconditional love towards all those around you, that is when you start to move into a space of presence and acceptance, and the allowance is allowing life to be as it is. And if you feel to say whatever you need to say, do it. Honor your own authenticity and be truthful about what it is, but say it in ways that don't harm anyone. We don't want to leave people with feeling low self-esteem about themselves or somehow not good enough. Everyone is good enough, more than good enough. So anyway, I've spoken for a while, and I really, really wanted to share this sense of bliss that I'm feeling. And if this can be shared with you, let's just say that this is my gift to you. And there is nothing unacceptable in this world. We're all here to learn something, and even in the most difficult of circumstances, people show remarkable courage, and resiliency. And even if, there's massive climate changes around the planet, or you might find in your own area some dramatic event occurs. The beauty of understanding these inner senses of bliss and peace is that you can then be of service to others when they're feeling afraid or anxious. We're living in a world of great change now. And we are deep feelers, all of us. It's just that we're caught up in patterns and mindsets that may be quite fearful. But my message to you today is life is out to love you. Peace is not a doing, it's actually a feeling. And that feeling is always within you. No one can ever bring peace to you. They can only say something, and you can either feel a resonance with it or not. And that resonance is your inner truth. It's not actually in concepts that truth arises. It's in an inner feeling that feels good for you. And the anchoredness is the grounding of truth in your life. And that is what gives you great strength to endure anything. Even if you have ups and downs, that truth, when you come back to it, will always anchor you. And that's life loving you. And then you love life back. And this is the essence of harmony and universal peace. So with that, I send you peace and great love. And know that you are a precious jewel in this life, and that nothing you've done has been wrong, in the sense that things are meant to happen as they happen. We're just here to learn something about who we are. Much love. Bye.